Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to my astrological channel, Today Energy. For the new visitors, welcome as well. My name is Michaela, and this video is your monthly astrological forecast. It's separated in sections for each zodiac sign for the upcoming month of April. Really important, interesting month because we have an eclipse happening and Mercury goes retrograde. I do recommend for you to listen to this forecast according to your rising sign, to your ascendant. Then on the second place, if you have additional 10 to 20 minutes, you can as well listen to the forecast for your sun sign and for the best overview of the events of the month and how they will trigger you and influence you, how you might probably react on them, how you will feel because of these astrological influences. You can additionally listen to the information for your moon sign. So those are the big three: rising sign, sun, and moon. All right, so we start with the first zodiac sign, Aries. Hello, dear rising sun and moon Aries. Let's see the main astrological events for April for you. We start the month on the 3rd of April when Mercury, the planet of communication, thinking, writing, emails, paperwork, documents, vehicles, and traveling, goes into Taurus. So Mercury ingresses into your second house according to the whole sign system, which I use in my forecasts here on this channel. Well, second house is all about work, how we make money, on what do we spend our money, our resources, our value system, how we take care of our body, most of all the nutrition, the food. But here I think the next month you will be quite actively discussing, negotiating, communicating around your budget, your finances. Maybe you will be negotiating a pay rise or change of job. Mercury is also about contracts and agreements, so maybe you will be signing or changing some of your work contracts. Keep in mind that Mercury will be also very active at the end of the month. We will get there at the end of the video because he will get retrograde in this very house of your natal chart, in the second house. Now, I must just mention that on the 3rd of April, we all better be more patient and careful because on the 3rd, when ingressing to Taurus, Mercury makes a square to Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto brings some more intensity. There might be confrontations, power struggles. People might want to control each other, impose some opinion, especially from work, in this case for you. Pluto is in your 11th house, so maybe there will be also some talks about finances. You will be demanding some money to be paid to you, or you will have to invest some money together with other people because Pluto is currently transiting your 11th house. So it is about working with some group of people in front of many people, an audience, or in internet, online, or maybe it's about international organizations or corporations. And maybe you are talking now about some very large projects, which initially might bring some intensity, of course. And then on the 6th of April, we have a full moon at 16 degrees Libra. So this is your 7th house, and you will feel this full moon the most if your descendant is around the 16th degree of Libra. Full moons bring illuminations, realizations, culmination of some processes, and in this case it is about your partners. So maybe some big important events in their lives, some news from your personal partners, your spouse, your best friends, family members, or some revelations about your business associates, business partnerships, clients, maybe even some deal, some negotiation, some contract is either finishing, expiring, you're ending it, or finally you reach some important conclusion and agreement. for you. Of course, for some of you, this might mean engagements or decision about separation, divorces, or maybe some celebration with your partner, like anniversary of your marriage. Let me tell you that full moons usually bring culmination of some processes that we might have started during the previous 2 new moons in the same sign. So let me tell you the dates. It was 6th of October 2021 and 25th of September 2022. If you keep a diary for new moons where you write down your 10 wishes according to each new moon in each house of your natal chart, maybe you place in this diary some intentions, dreams, wishes, goals to achieve, right? It's not only about wishing, it's also about making yourself believe that you can achieve it and act upon it. So check your diary or remember what you were planting, like relationships, like commitments, agreements, friendships, contracts around these dates. And now maybe you are getting to celebrate something, to finish something, or do some course correction regarding your partnerships. You see, again, maybe it's about work. Now, this full moon makes an opposition to you, to Chiron and Jupiter in your first house. So also somehow you will be acting either as a wise instructor, mentor, teacher, maybe to others. Indeed, maybe you are in a role of manager, of healer, of a famous person who is attracting possibly clients, who becomes popular within your organization or wherever work you're doing, especially if it's online, especially if it's connected to foreign lands, for example. So you are also on the spotlight here. Maybe you have to heal some insecurities about yourself within relationships. Maybe your partners usually tell you to slow down, to be more considerate about them, because Chiron is the wounded healer. So you have to heal some inner wound about yourself, whether about your expression, about your assertiveness, about your personal desires, right? Because you, Aries, you are the sign of ego, of personality, of main drive force and motivation without considering others' opinions. So here is an important way to balance your worldview, desires, actions, projects, and your partners as well. All right, let me see something else. Well, on the 6th, we have also important event. Mercury conjuncts the karmic lunar node, the north node, in your second house. So there might be very significant, important karmic destiny messages, news, documents, projects regarding your work, maybe decisions about your work project, salary, decisions to buy, to sell something, or your self-esteem will be boosted and you'll finally get this insight, this aha moment, realization about your talents, about how worthy you are and how you can better sell yourself. Mercury, it is, by the way, about business, and crossing your second house, it's a great time to establish some online business, some trading, logistics, something about travels, education, courses, vehicles, documents, translation maybe, and so on. This full moon is important because it opens the season of the spring eclipses. We usually have sets of eclipses, and this year there will be 2 during the spring and 2 in the autumn. Yes, normally the most turbulent turmoils of energy happen closely to the dates of the eclipses, but for me, the whole period of eclipses lasts for 1.5 months. It starts 2 weeks before the first eclipse, and finally the energy slows down. I mean, the karmic events and synchronicities wrap up 2 weeks after the second eclipse. So, in my opinion, we should be double the careful and with more awareness from the 6th of April till the 19th of May. Within this period, we should not make any rushed decisions, anything that we could be sorry about, anything provoked by fears, anxiety, emotions, passions, insecurity, right? Because it's all very unclear. And later we can be sorry about these decisions taken during this eclipse period, but it will be harder to change the situation afterwards. On the other hand, whatever happens to us throughout this period, and you see, I'm a person who considers that astrology is not about just fate. We always have a free will, but especially during the eclipse season, indeed, fate is intervening in our earthly affairs because it wants to remind each of us our soul mission for each of us. So whether we are on the right path of the soul plan for this incarnation, or we have deviated a little bit and go to a side, according to this, depends how strongly you will feel the eclipse, because it might gently or not so gently push you back on your, so to say, karmic road of experiences, how you can grow through which lessons, people, relationships, experiences, and so on. Not every person feels equally strongly each eclipse, because we do have from, I don't know, 3 to 7 eclipses each year. So of course it depends also how it triggers your personal natal chart. And for this matter, you usually talk with a professional astrologer on a private consultation. But overall, mind you, that eclipse season starts on the 6th of April, and accept with gratitude and inner peace whatever happens in your life, even if there are some sudden changes, or might not immediately manifest any sudden changes, but maybe some seeds are being planted now, and in the next 6 months some important events will grow up from this. That's why I advise us to be aware, to be present, to be calm, breathe, relax, ground yourself, and observe the work of destiny throughout this period. I'll come to the April eclipse in a moment, but before that, I have to mention about the transit of Venus, the planet of pleasure, money, and love. Venus on the 11th of April moves into your 3rd house. So we're talking that next month you will be experiencing a lot of nice meetings with friends, or you might meet your loved one in some courses, in some social events, maybe online, in forums, dating apps, while you're driving your car, while you're traveling, on the petrol station, for instance. Also, Venus might bring you money, a good income, if you are dealing with this 3rd house work activities, like small business, like crafts. You might be now very inspired to do something beautiful with your hands, selling, buying, trading overall, some online business, something about communication, something about education, possibly logistics, vehicles, and so on. You might also spend money on those things, on courses, on travels, on your vehicle. And then on the 20th of April, indeed, we have the first eclipse for the year. It's a solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries. A solar eclipse means a very powerful new moon. And this new moon is an eclipse because it happens next to the karmic lunar node, the north node we already mentioned about, with the full moon on the 6th. Well, dear Aries, an eclipse in the last degree of your sign, which means, of course, your 1st house is illuminated, so karmic new beginnings are ahead for you. Now, this eclipse happens very early in the morning, according to my local time zone, the Eastern European time zone, because I'm currently located in Bulgaria. So you can imagine that sun being at 29 degrees of Aries, just a couple of hours later, it moves already into the next sign, into Taurus. But for the ones who were born on the 20th, even on the 19th of April, first of all, happy birthday, dear very late Aries. And second, for you, since the eclipse is so close to your birthdays, that means that you will experience a very interesting, exciting, powerful next personal year, the next solar year of your life will be full of new possibilities, changes, and surprises. I hope that you like this kind of events in your life, especially the new possibilities. Now, focusing on this eclipse, yes, it triggers the topics of your look, of your interaction with the world, also your close personal relationships. You might start something new in these areas of life. Also, it might trigger some questions or issues about your health. Hopefully, it's about changing your diet, changing your attitude to your health, body, to your daily routine, to your regime, lifestyle, you know. All of this here, you might decide just to do more exercises, to change your style, your wardrobe, to go abroad, change your settings, your environment. Yeah, first house is what surrounds us, where we are located. And certainly new projects in your life might start now, or maybe you're just planning something, you know, initiating or visualizing, planting some seeds, and give it a time, of course, to grow. Yes, first house is about our personal actions, but also be aware of what is going on around you, where the destiny is dragging you to during this eclipse. Now, it's a positive eclipse because it conjuncts Jupiter, of course, in your first house. So it might be about growth, expansion, popularity, success. For some, it might bring eventually marriages. For some, it might bring children. Once again, I'm saying that, yes, events might happen around this eclipse, like close to the date itself, the 20th of April. Or on the other hand, it might be just you are just spotting someone, you're meeting some new people, like nothing special on the first sight. But you see here, that's why we make these videos, to make you more aware of your chances, of what's going on with you, around you. So any kind of contact later might become very significant for you. Whatever you are starting around this eclipse or just planning, it will most probably turn very serious, very long-lasting project, because the eclipse sextiles, it's a positive aspect, sextiles Saturn, the planet of longevity. Yes, work, yes, efforts. Things will not maybe happen like this, falling from the sky, even though Jupiter is the planet of just a great random luck. But also you'll have to put some efforts and patience, and things will turn out very beautifully for you to be proud of. Last but not least, this eclipse squares Pluto, so I think the changes we will all experience, and you particularly in your first house, according to the whole sign system, will be very powerful. Some really big shifts, big changes, rebirth, I could say, with Pluto and a square. It is a challenging aspect, let's face it. Pluto usually brings a lot of power, a lot of focus on something particular, almost obsession. So try to stay cool, calm, not to get addicted or obsessed by something. But yeah, Pluto being in your 11th house, there is a chance for participation in some big joint projects, group projects, whether like with colleagues, with students. Maybe you'll learn something, maybe you will travel abroad, join some large organization, maybe you'll be interested in politics, in social media. You might fight your way in a society. Be aware of manipulation, of someone trying to control you, to possess you, to push you to something you don't actually want to do. But at the same time, 11th house is about gains and earnings from your career. So be open to new big projects and possibilities, to some awards, rewards, bonuses, something you really deserve from your work, maybe large popularity, being well known by a big group of people. Whatever you are doing with square to Pluto from 11th house, whether you're joining an NGO, a social cause, volunteer project, political party, you open a blog, you will become very successful and popular, but try to be also very clear, transparent, very honest with yourself and with others surrounding you, whether they are your like-minded people or audience, because Pluto tends to create some secrets, schemes, and so on. But then also time passes and Pluto reveals this all suddenly, and people feel either ashamed or stressed or scared or manipulated and so on. So honesty, clarity, transparency is very important to any sort of public or financial projects. And also 11th house is your wishes and dreams and long-term goals. So wow, with an eclipse in your first house and square from Pluto in your 11th house, really as if you are turning your life upside down. Maybe you have a new vision, a new goal for you, a new dream. It might be not easy to achieve. You might need to transform your attitude to life, your body. Maybe your dream is about, building a different health and body, different sort of relationships, joining some club or group of people, becoming popular in any sort. In any case, Pluto is about something massive and big, and most probably you will become very powerful, influential person. Right, and then the sun, couple of hours after the eclipse, already moves into Taurus to join the planets in your third house, basically. Oh, sorry, in your second house, my fault, in your second house, illuminating the topic about self-worth, self-love, about care of your body via clothes, via safe environment, via your, what objects surround you, like your furniture, at home. Maybe you'll decide to do some big renovation, for instance. Pluto is about purging and releasing, so maybe you have to reconsider, first of all, 11th house, your friendships, who are your true friends and who are not, with whom you want to continue to make maybe business and whom you cannot trust anymore. But also maybe you would like to purge toxins from your body, bad habits, habits of not caring of yourself and not loving yourself, and also some old cluttered furniture and objects in your environment, in your home, in order to let more free energy come into your life. Right. And on the 21st of April, Mercury stations to go retrograde. So Mercury will be retrograde this time from 21st of April till the 14th of May in your second house of work and budget, income, spendings. So mind you, during this period, you can go back to some old work project. You have to finish it possibly, or you have to maybe take some good, important lessons from it. Remind yourself about some past professional skills that you have to polish now. Maybe you'll have to sell them this time again. Maybe if some salary was delayed to be paid to you, or someone owed you money, now it's a good chance to receive this income, some old one from the past. Maybe you go back to investing money into something you are familiar already with. So basically, retrograde, means to revisit something, repair, reevaluate. You have second chance to maybe apply for the same job position that you were applying already before, but you didn't get the first time. Maybe you have the chance to go to some professional or requalification course to improve your professional skills. Maybe you will be revisiting your budget. If you have planned to buy something and you were choosing and comparing prices, and now you might get a best deal from it. But don't get tempted by completely new offers, because while Mercury is retrograde, you might make some financial deal or buy something, spend money on something that you won't be so happy after Mercury goes direct again after the 14th of May, and you will have to once again negotiate or return the product. So here regarding work, money, and shopping, remember, 21st of April to 14th of May, it's better just to compare, to negotiate, to maybe go to interviews or, polish your old skills, learn how to sell yourself better, take again this course on self-esteem that you purchased maybe some time ago but never listened through some good podcasts about positive thinking, or maybe you are going to some financial course. Yeah, and by the way, on the 21st of April, Mercury is not only stationed to go backwards, which means that generally people's minds are a little bit like stopped, so don't get nervous, because there might be some misunderstandings. Be careful on the road, within the city infrastructure, with vehicles, with what you say, with sending emails, because on the same day, Mercury conjuncts Uranus. So this means a lot of mental intensity. People will be like exploding almost with words, saying something they just didn't meant to possibly say, but because they're so impatient and so rebellious suddenly. Forewarned, forearmed, as we say. So 20th is the solar eclipse, right? 21st, Mercury turns retrograde and conjuncts Uranus. Give it also 22nd as the day to just drink magnesium supplements, be in the nature, do some breathing practices. You might get some important insights, because Uranus and Mercury is about genius revelations. It's about genius ideas. It's about sudden messages, sudden contacts, but also it's about technology, shutting down, breaking. So, be careful with with electrical objects in your home, and with online activity, technology, business, cars, vehicles, and so on. And already after the 14th of May, all these ideas that you are juggling now and mulling and wondering about, it's okay to give yourself time to just consider things, to just wait for things. There might be delays as well. While Mercury is retrograde, maybe there will be a delay of a salary payment or job interview decision, so you'll have to wait for the final resolution. And also you have the chance to say that you will be meanwhile choosing, and so people, maybe employers, must give you time to consider your options, or to finish something in your old work, for instance, or old project. Okay, dear Aries, I wish you a wonderful, powerful, exciting, and very positive April. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, dear Taurus. Now you already know this is your monthly astrological forecast for April. This is mostly for rising sign Taurus, but also for sun and moon Tauruses as well. We start the month with an event on the 3rd of April. Mercury, the planet of communication, negotiation, technologies, vehicles, documents, moves into your sign. So for the next 1 month, you will be very mercurial. You will have this mutable qualities of moving around a lot, of communicating a lot with people, socializing, being very active online. It's a great time to teach, to learn, to negotiate, to sort out documents, learn languages possibly. Great for if you do something with your hands, like some crafts, or if you have some online business, for instance, or some small business. Now, the 3rd of April itself is a bit more intense day, I must warn you, because Mercury ingressing into your sign makes immediately a square to Pluto, the big player who recently came into Aquarius. That's your 10th house. So there might be some, challenges, confrontations. When Pluto acts with a square to, in this case, to Mercury in your sign, maybe you will feel like you can manipulate people with your words, with data, with knowledge, with your voice even. Maybe you will feel that someone is trying to push their will onto you. Like power struggles there might be with a parent, with authority figure, with some authority figure at work, your boss, manager, CEO, or someone even representing the state or state institutions. So try not to involve yourself into some verbal confrontations, because there is this stronger power from your 10th house. Maybe there will be competition. Maybe now you with Mercury in your first house are going to interviews, are trying to convince people about your ideas. And indeed, even with a square, even with the intense aspect, Mercury and Pluto can reveal some information. So that's great if you're a prosecutor, if you're a journalist, if you're a blogger, if you're a writer, if you want to influence people somehow, you can. But with any hard aspect to Pluto, please remember, we have to be mostly transparent, very honest with ourselves and with others, because if you try to hide something, to manipulate your image, Pluto in the 10th house is you in the open, in the public, basically. That's your image. So your image can be of a very tough, uncompromising person, ruthless a little bit, but also very powerful, very impactful, very popular. You can become as well with verbal activities, Mercury, right? Or with maybe your craft or your business. And again, I'm saying there can be positive also manifestations of this square on the 3rd of April. If you are very honest, if you can be out there in the public, if you can be persistent, very focused on your idea, Mercury, or what you're saying, but don't hide things, don't manipulate people, because sooner or later, then Pluto will reveal the truth anyways. And then people can feel like stressed or ashamed or something. So it's better to be clear and kind of honest from the very beginning, and you can be very popular, impactful, successful, and powerful on this day, really, with what you're saying. Mostly, I think there might be some lucrative business deals, some contracts about work position, career changes, and so on. Okay, on the 6th of April, we have a full moon at 16 degrees of Libra, and this is your 6th house. Of course, full moons usually bring some news, information, realization, knowledge. We might see clearly what's going on in this area of life where the full moon happens. We might need to adjust or correct something, or we're celebrating the reaping of the rewards, or we are finishing, ending something, quitting. And in this case, it might be related to some activities or some plans or ideas you had during the previous 2 new moons in the same sign of Libra. Let me tell you the dates. These were on the 6th of October 2021 and on the 25th of September 2022. So, for instance, if you're keeping a new moon wish diary, if you're writing down on each new moon 10 wishes or intentions or dreams or goals to achieve, it's very interesting then 6 months later or 1 year and a half later to go back to these pages and check actually what has come to reality, what you have achieved, what you can congratulate yourself on, and scratch those lines already. Or if you still haven't achieved those wishes, then why not? What obstacles do you meet? What can you change in your attitude and actions about it? Well, we're talking here about your 6th house of health, of course. So this full moon might bring you culmination of some diet or set of exercises you were doing so far, or culmination and knowledge about what's going on with your health. Maybe those are the results of your health tests and exams, let's say the blood or some other types of exams. Or you can celebrate because you have achieved some goals about getting rid of bad habits, replacing them with some more positive, more healthy habits in your life. Of course, maybe it's the opposite case. So now this full moon is like really pushing you into the direction to, let's say, quit smoking, quit the sugar. Maybe you realize that you don't want to work now with this medical facility and doctor, so you will change them. Also, sixth house is, of course, about work. So maybe you're reaping the rewards of some professional activity. You're celebrating some achievement with your team, colleagues. Maybe you decide whether you will hire someone or fire someone, because sixth house usually is whether we are serving to other people or someone is helping us, like cleaning lady or babysitter or workers at home. Now, sixth house is usually about some problems we have to fix, someone we have to take care of in our life. That's why it talks about courts. That's why it talks about repairments at home or of your vehicle. It talks about health issues and so, right? Because we need to restore the balance as it was before something broke. But we have to find the problem. And here the full moon can illuminate you where is the problem, how to fix it, how to deal with it. Or in the best case, I wish you that this full moon brings the ending of a problematic situation in your life. On the same day, dear Tauruses, Mercury in your first house conjunct the karmic lunar node, the north node, the point on the sky, which talks about progress, development, something fresh, something new, exciting, maybe a little bit scary, but also inevitable, which drags you further in life to the progress, to the development. So because it's in your first house, there might be this news and information, or you see some article which is about a diet, which is about exercises. Maybe you download some app, or you go and subscribe to some Zumba lessons or fitness aerobics, something like this. Or you start jogging and running, because Mercury is about walks on the fresh air. Maybe you receive, yes, some important news by someone about job or health, or how to help someone, or some important people come to help you with documents, paperwork at work, or repairing your vehicle, or opening your business, or closing your business, you know. But yeah, Mercury is about news, emails, information. But also you might receive some important insight, revelation, knowledge about how to proceed further with work, or with your health, with your routine overall. You might change. Now, this full moon makes an opposition to Chiron, who also speaks about healing. He's called the wounded healer, and Jupiter as well in the opposite sign of Aries, that is your 12th house. So maybe you will discover some psychosomatic health issue. You will understand that the symptoms of your body actually are related to your psyche, to your emotional well-being. So it's good here to pay attention of how you feel and how it is connected to your sleeping, maybe your dreams, your internal emotional state overall. Maybe there is a lot of like a huge pile within you of pain, of being angry with someone, not being able to forgive someone. Maybe some memories from your past will come. You know, this is about the psychological part of this lunation. Also 12th, 6th house, it is about, indeed, like especially 12th house is the self-undoing habits. So self-harming, self-sabotaging. So here Chiron and Jupiter can send you health expert, a mentor, a trainer, a teacher, a psychologist, an astrologer, esoteric specialist, tarologist, who can help you, or someone who does hypnosis or regressions or constellations to work with your parents' heritage and family, in order to understand why do you keep on night eating or smoking or partying too much, drinking too much. What do you want to fill in? Like, what is this emptiness inside you that you have to work with, you know? So very much connected here, the physical realm and the spiritual one. But also Jupiter and Chiron in the 12th house might talk about some work, business relationships with foreign lands, foreign partners, some online projects, maybe working with laboratories or libraries, researching, preparing some materials. Yeah, 12th house is everything hidden, like hidden maybe just because we do it at home or in some quiet hidden places, or maybe it's about you going abroad for healing, you going to some retreats. Maybe it's about health, yoga retreats, spiritual retreats, meditation retreats, you know, somewhere overseas on an island, or at the very least somewhere to the nature to heal yourself. Right. By the way, this full moon is quite important because it opens the spring eclipse season. Now, this year we will have 4 eclipses, 2 during the springs. They usually come in a set with 2 weeks apart. So 2 eclipses during the spring and 2 during the autumn. Indeed, the most heavy karmic influence and this energy turmoil happens, of course, closer to the dates of the eclipses. But to me, usually the changes start, or some signals from the universe start 2 weeks before the first eclipse, and finally the energy settles down, calms down, the synchronicities stop happening 2 weeks after the second eclipse. So here, mind you, this spring eclipse season starts with the full moon on the 6th of April to last until the 19th of May. In this 1 month and a half, we will experience 2 eclipses. Now, I always mention this information because for warmth, forearmed, right? So it's important to know that during eclipse periods, we might be a bit more agitated, like nervous, psyche, emotionally, and we might tend to do some rush decisions, radical decisions, break something, cut something, go away, and so on, which might feel good at the beginning, but later, after the energy calms down, we might feel sorry about our decisions, and usually it will be harder to change or repair what we have done during eclipse season, especially if it was based on passion, emotions, fear, some inner traumas, wanting a revenge or wanting to escape or something like this, you know. So on the other hand, yes, people might experience quitting jobs, becoming pregnant, divorcing, for instance, during eclipse seasons. But you see, those events don't depend on our own active participation. They just happen to us. And, you know, trust me, I'm an astrologer who always promotes that astrology is about energies, but we always have the free will how to use them for our benefit, or at least, you know, be prepared when we have to be more proactive, when it's good to be more patient and wise, and so on. So in this case, during the eclipse seasons, let's leave destiny do its job. And destiny, karma, I mean, it's kind of the universe intervenes to remind each of us the soul mission that each of our souls has chosen in order to reincarnate here into this body, this society, this country, this time period, even this family, parents, and so on, because the soul has in mind to experience some certain set of lessons, experiences, relationships, and so on. So sometimes we deviate from this path, we go somewhere else, and during eclipses, destiny has the chance to sometimes gently, sometimes not so gently, kind of adjust us to the road, to the karmic road of our souls. Look, we have eclipses every single year, really, from 3 to 7 eclipses. So not every time we experience divorces, relocations, and so on. It's very important how the particular eclipse triggers your personal natal chart. This is what you discuss with astrologers on personal private consultations, of course. But yeah, general recommendations are to stay calm, ground yourself, do some breathing exercises, be mindful, be aware, be present in the moment, and notice messages, synchronicities. Maybe you meet someone new, maybe there is some new information, maybe nothing particular happens around the eclipses, but don't worry, the seeds are being planted, and then give it a time, like, I don't know, 6 months, for instance, to develop into something really karmic and important for you. I will come, by the way, to the eclipse in April, but first, let me just first mention that on 11th, your ruling planet, beautiful Venus, goes into Gemini, which for you is your second house. Wherever Venus goes, we experience pleasure, joy, we meet friends, support, we might find love as well, and money, income, but also we might spend money. And your second house is the house traditionally ruled by Taurus. So it's about work and shopping, but also it's about self-esteem. So use this 1 month for receiving good income, salary, payment for what you do, to shine there like a very diplomatic, very secure, self-assured expert. Because when we love ourselves, when we truly respect our time, knowledge, when we value our skills, experience, then also the employer or the colleagues and the world overall as well responds with the same energy. And with this, in this case, with Venus in your second house, there is this loving energy, compromising, consensus. So yeah, money as well, so you can get higher salary, more income for whatever is your professional activity, more self-love, admirers, audience, of course, clients. You might meet love at work as well, like in the office, for instance. But also be prepared. You might spend now more money. Venus in the second house likes to pamper herself, meaning you, to pamper you, and why not? Sometimes we deserve it. As far as this is not impulsive, then you really deserve to delight your 5 senses, for instance. Yeah, Taurus, you like good food, healthy, good natural fabrics and material, beautiful jewelry, beautiful and nice perfumes, and so on. By the way, while Venus transits Gemini, you might feel a bit more like Geminis, more flexible, more communicative, more curious, more adaptable, chatty, sociable, but also Mercury is in your first house. So we have this double whammy of Gemini, airy energy for you, curious about knowledge, learning, sharing the knowledge with other people, and so on. Venus is here in Gemini till the 7th of May. And here we come to this first eclipse for the year on the 20th of April. The eclipse happens at 29 degrees Aries. It's a powerful new moon since it's a solar eclipse. So it does speak about new beginnings on steroids, I would say, because it conjuncts the North Node, the karmic lunar node, talking about the future development. So ready or not, here it comes. Very interestingly, it's in your 12th house of endings, actually. So maybe first you have to cut ties, burn bridges, especially if we talk about unhealthy attachments, unhealthy relationships, something toxic in your life, bad habits, emotional craving and attachment to something, to your own traumas. Mark my words, the biggest attachments we have, and Taurus, you are a fixed sign who changes a bit like harder and slower, and is kind of a bit clingy to some things, especially material comfort, security, and so on, which is not bad, you know. But to be attached. Sometimes we subconsciously are attached to suffering, to the traumas, to this self-destruction we cause ourselves. 12th house also might talk about new beginnings regarding traveling, relocation, working with distant lands, foreign countries, meeting someone online, starting a healing, medical procedures, going to a hospital or clinic, starting some spa procedures, starting some retreats, spiritual practices, working with a psychologist, hypnotherapist, doing some spiritual work basically, and preparing, doing some preparation as well through the 12th house, or doing this hidden secret activities, research, doing some activity in a lab, for instance, in a library, in some hotel, if you are in such business. And the eclipse happens very early in the morning, or at least where I'm located. I use the Eastern European daylight saving time. And just a couple of hours later, the sun moves already into your sign, Taurus. So you start celebrating birthdays. So happy birthday, my dear Tauruses. I wish you plenty of health, joy, shared love, and success in your life. And wow, if you have birthday on the 20th of April, oh, the next personal year, your solar return promises to be quite exciting. Really, it will be a year of big shifts, big changes. I hope you do enjoy them. Uranus transits your sign, so you learn to be more ready to make the quantum leaps, to rebel against the norms. Maybe even against the authorities, and basically go on the beat of your own drum, dear Tauruses, and be more spontaneous and rebel. So I hope you will enjoy this next personal year, because it will be quite exciting with an eclipse happening on your birthday, right? This eclipse, I like it because it conjuncts Jupiter, which speaks about personal growth, expansion, popularity. Jupiter is the planet of foreign lands, countries, and projects indeed. Also, whatever you establish and start during this eclipse, and we already talked about careful proceeding, not emotional, spontaneous, but being grateful of things that happen to you and offers present to you. Maybe it's an offer about relocation somewhere far away. But whatever happens, it will be serious, and it will be long-lasting. Might be not at once. You will have to put some patience and effort, but the result will be really tangible and good, because this eclipse sextiles, good aspect, to the planet of time and karma as well, Saturn, and of very solid results. Now we have an intense aspect as well to this eclipse. It comes from our good friend Pluto in your 10th house. So that makes this month quite important for you, Taurus, I would say. If you want to know more about the transit of Saturn in Pisces, this historical ingress of Pluto into your 10th house in Aquarius, and you have not yet still seen my video, Taurus 2023, please find it on my channel. It's more than 1 hour long. I describe in depth all these important planetary transits for this year for you. But in this case, Pluto is involved in this karmic event. Again, we might have some intensity. Pluto is about 180-degree bold transformation. Pluto gives us obsession into something, huge possibilities about big masses of people, or big income, or big progress. But we might be tempted with something, tempted to grab the power, tempted to be ruthless, tempted to destroy someone. So be mindful, be cautious, be honest, as I said at the beginning of the video. Pluto is still in your 10th house, so we're talking here that you can indeed either change your relationship with your parent by 12th house activities, by forgiving, by releasing, letting go, understanding some something from the past, some trauma and so on, and just getting into terms with it, you know, healing it. Also, Pluto might mean that you are maybe starting a business. Your status might change, like you become a parent, a grandparent, unemployed, you leave on maternity leave, you relocate, you become a traveler of the world, you know, with 12th house, maybe you become a healer, a doctor, you decide to start working with astrology, esoterics, and so on, you know, big change. It might be around the 20th, it might be in this 1.5 months, or it might just plant now as a seed and develop in the next 6 months. You can become very powerful and very recognized, maybe even in politics, in like a CEO, manager, like on a high position, definitely, or very popular. With some 12th house activities. It might be tourism, hotel, spa job, and recreational activities, medicine, art, as well, 12th house, visual art, film industry, writing, dancing, poetry, and so on. Okay, and then we move to the 21st of April, just one day later. Mercury, of how we think and speak with other people, stations to go retrograde. So Mercury will be retrograde from the 21st of April, from the 15th degree of your sign, till the 14th of May, when he will turn direct at 5 degrees of your sign. If you have your sun, moon, or rising sign, depends who is listening and watching now this video, between 5th to 15th degree of Taurus, especially on the 5th degree or 15th degree, you will feel this retrogradation even more so. And if your sun, moon, or rising sign are around the 15th degree, you will feel this retrogradation mostly around the 21st of April. Not only that, but on this date, Mercury conjuncts Uranus in your first house. Jesus Christ. So this is gonna be fun ride at the very least. Please be grounded, be thoughtful, be mindful. You might want to explode with some words, you know, cut people out by emails, writing something down. Look, it's great for therapeutical writing, you know, when you write down everything that's accumulated within you, like emotions, feelings, upset, anger. You dedicate this letter to the particular person or group of people. You write it down, you express yourself on paper, which means you take it out from yourself, right? You might read it, see it, and then just cut it, shred it, throw it away, burn it, but carefully, you know, and you will see how it might help all those negative emotions to just be externalized, get out of you, get out of your body and mind and soul, you know. So this is what you can do. But yes, 20th, 21st, 22nd, be patient with people as well, and with yourself, because there might be misunderstandings, there might be sharp words, there might be a lot of mental tension, you know. So we have to drink magnesium supplements, go for a walk in the nature, meditate, do some breathing exercises. And be careful with the emails you're sending on the road with your vehicle, right? Because yeah, Mercury is about traveling and movement. Uranus might bring some unexpected situations. Of course, again, I always give both sides of the spectrum, the negative and the positive possible manifestations possible. So on positive side, you might get some very significant aha moments, insights, revelations, like cathartic thoughts or news, something that clicks immediately. Suddenly you see this article, you get this email, a response, or proposition. Suddenly you meet some important person. Still, still, I would say, don't act upon it immediately. Remember, we're still too close to the eclipse, just one day before, and retrograde Mercury will give you the chance to come back to something from the past, renegotiate, reevaluate, repair something. By the way, I must mention that Mercury is in the shadow of the retrograde period from the 7th of April till the 31st of May. So in this interval, this period, he is indeed going 3 times between the 5th and the 15th degrees of your sign. So maybe the first news, propositions or ideas for you come from around the 7th of April onwards, and then you have the chance from the 21st to go back to them, to crystallize them, clarify, mull them over, give yourself time, don't rush. The ideas might be good. Just make yourself a schedule, make yourself a plan, prepare the tactics, the strategy, contact people. Maybe you'll meet some people from the past. Maybe you will drive or go to some places you've been before. Maybe you will reestablish communication with neighbors, siblings, former classmates, former colleagues. Maybe they'll call you to do some job you have done already, or finish something unfinished business, really. Maybe you'll have the chance to renegotiate some deals and contracts. Possibilities might be plenty. Good time to check your vehicle, repair the vehicle if need be. Yeah. Maybe you're choosing to buy furniture or car, then don't buy during Mercury retrograde. Better choose, negotiate the deals, compare the prices, and so on. And lastly, I want to mention the date 24th of April, because then the sun in your house, and of course, once the sun moved in your house on the 20th, after the eclipse in Aries, you are shining like a little ball of light, like a little sun. Sun is the life giver, the energy giver. It's the joy of life, and you can spread it in the world. While the sun is in your first house, you can achieve a lot of things. You can attract people to your cause, and so on. And very important date, 24th of April, when the sun conjuncts the karmic lunar node. So we're talking here again about some karmic encounters, ideas, opportunities, chances. You can become popular, be on a stage, shine your light onto others, express yourself, launch some idea. Yeah, Mercury will be already retrograde, so maybe it is something familiar, something you were preparing already for some time. Yeah, the sun rules your 4th house, so maybe it is related to visiting your parents or renegotiating some deal about selling property. Yeah, while Mercury is retrograde, you might sell. You can buy something secondhand, let's say antique, but not necessarily something completely new, because then you might reconsider your decision. So if we talk about decisions, then keep them for yourself, plan them carefully, and go for it after the 14th of May already for sure. Well, dear Taurus, that's how April looks like for you. I wish you a very interesting, exciting, positive, lovely month. Enjoy it, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, my dear Geminis, ascendant, sun, and moon Geminis. Let's check April for you from astrological perspective. So, exciting month indeed, because a lot of stuff is happening with your ruler Mercury. On the 3rd of April, he moves into Taurus. So for the next month, and even more than a month, I could say, because Mercury will be retrograde here in Taurus, spoiler alert, you will feel more like Taurian, So you will feel more grounded, more careful, slow down, pay more attention to physical pleasures, in life, like good food, good massage, good fabrics, clothes, perfumes, and so on. Basically, you'll become a bit more hedonistic, but also more stubborn. By moving into Taurus, Mercury starts activating your 12th house of your subconscious. So you might have a lot of internal dialogues, monologues, decision making. You might quietly research something, prepare some papers, some documents. Maybe you're working in a library or in a laboratory. Also with Mercury in your 12th house, so yeah, you might receive some important messages, insights, realizations while you sleep in your dreams, while you meditate, if you do some spiritual practices. Mercury in the 12th might make you travel, whether some particular cases doing some astral traveling or of course on a very physical level. You can travel somewhere to an exotic country, faraway land, to go to some retreat, spa, medical facility, clinic, hospital, or go somewhere overseas, even maybe you're starting preparing some documents for relocation. Yes, we said some paperwork as preparation before Mercury enters into your sign, Gemini, into your first house. And maybe you will have some negotiations online or with someone from faraway lands, or you are working with a psychologist, astrologer, hypnotherapist, or some esoteric or spiritual specialist. Well, the 3rd of April can be a little bit more intense day, really, with intense inner work and revelations, because Mercury makes a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 9th house. So you might feel pressured by teachers, by representatives of the state or of the law, by foreigners. Maybe you want a visa or you want to apply for temporary or permanent residence or citizenship, but they ask you to bring big money or to prepare for important, big, heavy, difficult exam. So yes, you will have to work hard mentally, let's say. Be careful on the road. Be careful when you're preparing for an international journey and travel, especially on the 3rd. But also you might indeed make some big, massive projects, become popular with your writings, publications, artwork or installations, your theses or some scientific discoveries that you make. Maybe you publish them, you go to some conference, you defend your masterpiece, your work, you publish your book. Yeah, Pluto likes something big and massive. He might meet you first with some criticism or power struggles, competition. Some secret might be revealed, really, with Mercury in the 12th house. Maybe you'll find some long lost documents, but be careful not to lose your documents, passports, and so on while you travel. Be careful not to have some problems with the authorities because you forgot something, because Mercury in the 12th house might be a bit or a lot forgetful. So yeah, Pluto in the 9th house can make you really significant, popular, like people might see you as an expert, as a master, as a teacher. You might even be very magnetic, attractive to the public, to the audience. But rule number 1 with Pluto always is to be very transparent, very honest with yourself and with others, because if you are some kind of a spiritual teacher, a guru, or any sort of a teacher, Pluto in the 9th house puts you on a test to not just to manipulate your audience and attract some people to you and sell them something or have them around your egregor, but it's about being really truthful and not afraid of the difficult topics, even the taboo topics and so on. You can make some good deals with the international business, I would say. And your faith, your belief system influences you a lot from your subconscious. You might realize why you value what you value. Pluto in the 9th house might ask you to transform your mission in life, your direction and goal in life. What is the meaning of life overall for you? While you work internally, some kind of a alchemy might happen to you with your concept of life, knowledge, faith and belief system, principles in life, and so on. Okay, on the 6th of April, we have a full moon at 16 degrees Libra. This is your 5th house. Full moons usually bring culmination, ending in some process. Sometimes we celebrate because we reap what we sow. We see the fruit of our labor. Sometimes it is not so happy event because we realize that there is no more sense to push into this direction. Either we have to maybe do some course correction or we leave it as it is. And 5th house talks about children. So here some of you might have news about being pregnant, expecting children, start working with children, or children are leaving your house, you know, they get independent, they go abroad. Maybe there's some news from your kids, some revelation and knowledge about your romantic partner. Maybe you go on the next stage of your relationship, or again, you decide to separate. It might be a culmination of your business. So you become popular, you launch your website, your campaign. Maybe you discover some talent. The full moon illuminates your inner child, what brings you pleasure, what makes you joyful, what you want to do as a hobby or as a business. Maybe you are on a stage doing some performance, 5th house as well, or show yourself as a teacher, artist, businessman, and so on. Now, usually full moons bring culmination of some processes that we have started or planned or written down in our diary of new moon wishes around the previous 2 new moons in the same sign. So let me tell you the dates. That was 6th of October 2021 and 25th of September 2022. So if you keep such a diary, you can open it and check your 10 wishes, goals, desires, dreams that you wrote down on those new moons in Libra. And now 6 months later or 1.5 years later, you can see what came to reality, what was fulfilled, what you have to scratch off, or you see something did not happen. So you ask yourself why, what should I do better, or how do I change my strategy, or do I need it at all anymore? On the same day, a very important day, I would say, because your ruler Mercury conjuncts the North lunar node, the karmic lunar node in Taurus. So this is your 12th house still. North node usually drags us into the future, ready or not. So it's usually about some news, new people in our life, new technology, insights, new situation. So something drags you abroad or into the spirituality or into the subconscious to go within. Maybe you need to realize some old issues, memories, pains. Maybe you're doing regression to the past life and you understand some things better now. Maybe you learn to forgive, some important information come to you from the space or from online space, from abroad. Maybe here is when you decide to relocate or to start some research activity, study history, foreign languages, work with foreigners, younger generation, something that for you is like exotic really and unthinkable yet. Maybe you decide to go abroad to some pilgrimage retreat, or of course it can be a work project as well. Now this full moon makes an opposition to Chiron and to Jupiter in the opposite sign of Aries, of course. That's your 11th house. So maybe you have to heal some problems with feeling accepted in a group or wanting people's approval. Maybe you can't allow yourself being expressive, having your own love life, hobbies, children, dedicate to your own business, because there is this desire to be part of the tribe of other people. But how much do you shine in the group? How much you're valued, respected by others? Do you have like-minded people around you, or you are faking to just be with someone around? So questions like this might appear, but on the other hand, maybe indeed you're joining some group of people with the same vision, interests. There might be foreigners, they might be popular people. You might become popular if you overcome some stage fear, for example, or you really launch your professional or hobby product online through Instagram or websites, and you become well known by others. Also, 11th house is our hopes, dreams, and wishes. So one more indication here that Jupiter might give you magical boost, and especially if it's a dream about child, marriage for women, because Jupiter represents in ancient astrology children and husbands, relocation, popularity, certification, being a graduate, becoming an expert in something, becoming popular. Here you might achieve it. Chiron might make you a mentor, a trainer, a teacher, or you might meet such important person who can teach you very important knowledge. Also, this full moon is important because it opens the spring eclipse season. Yes, this year we will have 4 eclipses. That's pretty normal. Not every eclipse is dramatic for every single person in the world, because otherwise we would go crazy. Every year we have like from 4 eclipses to 7, which is, you know, sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's fine. It depends how the eclipse triggers your personal natal chart, which of course you discuss with a professional astrologer on private consultations usually. But I must warn you, forewarned, forearmed, that around eclipses the energy is quite destined, karmic. Things happen out of our control, and I usually vouch for the astrology of wisdom, astrology that tells you that there are certain energies around us on the sky, as above, so below, as without, so within, right? But also we have our personal will, how to use the given energies. That's why I do personally these forecasts and videos. But the point is that around eclipses, less free will and more destiny, okay? And around eclipses, I'm saying all this 1.5 months that contains 2 eclipses that go usually in a set. So in this case, this eclipse season starts with the full moon on the 6th and ends on the 19th of May, okay? So we have 1 eclipse in April and 1 in May. Time of energetic turmoil. People usually tend to be more emotional. We tend to act more irrationally based, God forbid, but sometimes people make some dramatic decisions, which are not coming from a place of confidence and calmness, but from a place of vengeance, fear, passion, desires, wanting to escape from something, like I'm fed up with this and so on. Okay, if you do it, you will succeed most probably, but then once the energy of this eclipse calms down and we have some period, till the next ones in the autumn, and you might realize you're not happy with your decision, but it will be more difficult to change these results. On the other hand, whatever happens with us, to us, during this eclipse periods, and of course, the closer to the date of the eclipse, the bigger chances that the event is more impactful. So let's say you were fired, or you have notice from the landlord that you have to change the place where you're living, or your spouse files papers for divorce. So you notice my examples are not very positive, but they also mean that other people decide something happens that is out of your reach and control. Well, then it's important to know that, yep, destiny is involving to adjust each of us to the path, the karmic path of the soul, of your soul mission, right? Because I believe that astrology, natal charts are usually showing this initial contract of the soul that he, the soul wanted to, the lessons the soul wanted to experience here, the experiences to pass, exams in a sense, yeah. So when we deviate too much from this initial plan of the soul, that's why the soul decided to be born in your body, in your family, in your country, in this time period. It's not an accident, I believe, and this is a free will of the soul, right? So around eclipses, the destiny is like a shepherd in my imagination, like a shepherd who comes and guides us gently, or sometimes not so gently, back to the on the track of the soul. Okay, so we have to be calm. It's nice to be grounded around eclipses. It's nice to be aware, observant what's going on, be smart, be wise, follow the cause and effect of karma. Karma is not just something randomly happening. It comes from somewhere, it brings some results of previous actions, and new actions will bring in the future other consequences. This is so logical. I really love it. Right, so yes, 6th of April opens the eclipse season, and briefly I'll mention about the first eclipse. But first, the good news about Venus, the planet of love, pleasure, friendships, and money, on the 11th of April goes into Gemini. Wow, into your first house. Well, and then till the 7th of May, she will be here in your first house. This is so wonderful, because whenever Venus, especially when she crosses your ascendant or conjuncts your sun and moon, then you feel so beautiful, so charming, so nice, and you really are. You're attracting people like magnet. You are so diplomatic. You can make negotiations, agreements, decisions, compromises, establish relationships, be very pampered, gentle, liked overall. That's great. You will want to take care of your style, make yourself beautiful, healthy, even though Venus signifies sugar, so you might be even more on the more self-indulging side, which is not bad either. Sometimes we deserve it, I would say. Yep, and on the 20th of April, here we come with the first eclipse for the year. It's a solar eclipse, which means a very powerful new moon. Yep, the moon and the sun conjunct, and they're close to the north node, the karmic point on the sky. So double whammy for new beginnings in life. 29th degree of Aries. For you, most probably this is your 11th house. For the sake of this general videos, I use the whole sign system, but on my private consultations, I work with a Placidus one. Okay, so 11th house for some Geminis. Well, that means new clubs, new groups of people, new teams that you will join. It might be that you go to university, so suddenly you're surrounded by new like-minded students. Maybe you're a teacher, so you have a new group. Maybe you're launching a blog, a website online, so you become popular. 11th house, you set yourself new goal, new dreams, new things to achieve in life and to aspire to. So here is good, the positive thinking, right? That sky is the limit and so on, because this energy will boost you into the future, possibly with some younger people, exotic people, foreigners, IT specialists, astrologers. Yes, something quite unusual with the North Node here. You might receive new salary, new admirations, recognitions, awards, rewards. Pretty popular you can become indeed, because this eclipse conjuncts Jupiter, so there is possibility for growth, expansion, travel. Maybe you will be meeting more with people who are either lawyers, representatives of the state, politicians, foreigners, teachers, famous people. Maybe you're going to an acting school. whatever you are initiating, or whatever rather initiates in your life with this powerful eclipse, will be long lasting. You will have to put some efforts, but you will be seeing very tangible, respectful results, because this eclipse sextiles, it's a positive aspect, sextiles Saturn, also a karmic planet, a planet of time, of structure, and of high achievements. Besides, Saturn in your 10th house of Pisces, wow, yeah, it can be professionally related. And of course, we have to be prepared that there is a very big power in this eclipse, and maybe even some challenges initially, because it squares Pluto. Remember Pluto in your 9th house? By the way, if you want to check all these important historical even transits for the whole 2023, find this video on my YouTube channel, Gemini 2023. It's more than 1 hour long, and there you will see my interpretation of the Saturnian transit through your 10th house, very important, and of course Pluto in Aquarius. What does it mean for you? How long it will last, and so on. But here, what can we expect? Well, prepare for massive transformation. We have to be brave. We have to be concentrated. Pluto wants us to be sure. In 9th house, you have to be sure about the meaning of your life, about your principles, your moral code, right? Your education. Maybe indeed 11th, 9th house, you're joining international corporation, or studying group, or you start traveling on a tour. Maybe you become a tour guide, tour leader, or just you start enjoying tourism, but it will really change you from within. Your mindset, your faith, your beliefs. Maybe you're going to India. Maybe you will be visiting some temples or some monasteries. Maybe you're setting on a long retreat, or pilgrimage that will change your life, like doing this Camino de Santiago, you know, in northern Spain, from the border with France to the border with Portugal. Yeah, something very important. Or maybe you are becoming indeed a leader of a group, a public person, popular writer, teacher, speaker, blogger, and so on. Avoid manipulations, avoid obsession, avoid following false gurus. Please be careful with this. Avoid joining sects, you know, of people obsessed by some fake spirituality and so on. Avoid manipulating people with your knowledge. Only use it for highest good, okay? And you can achieve really huge coverage, like being popular, being very rich, prominent, and so on. Well, just a couple of hours after the eclipse, the sun moves already into Taurus. So this 1 month of 12th house energy starts for you, but you already know there is Mercury. So it is about preparation. While for 1 month, relax, make a review of all the past year, get rid of anything unnecessary, get rid of emotional baggage, get rid of obsessive thoughts, of unproductive way of thinking. Replace the negative one with a positive one. Maybe you would like to separate yourself from unhealthy people and relationships. Yeah, maybe you'd like to take care of your health, physical or spiritual one, of your mental health as well, right? The sun in the 12th house. Take it easy, relax, really. Besides, on the 21st, Mercury, your ruler, is stationing to go retrograde. Now, you see, 20th is the eclipse, 21st, Mercury is as if stopped on the sky. He conjuncts Uranus. Give it also the 22nd, the next day. Don't take important decisions. You might be itchy to explode verbally, to say something, to write down some email, to cut some connections, you know. Mind you, these days particularly are the ones which you might be very confused. People might be very confused. Let's be careful on the road, with the traffic, with vehicles, with traveling. Be careful with emails, with technology around you, because it might fail. People might feel more mentally intense with the Mercury conjuncting Uranus. On the other hand, for you, you might experience some important revelations, some aha moments, insights, something brilliant might come as an idea. Write it down. If you want to speak something nasty to people, if you want to, I'm out of here, and so again, write down these therapeutical letters of forgiveness or of anger. Write down your frustration or disappointment with someone, or a letter to your parents or to some even deceased people. It's okay to write it, never to send it or to show it to the people, because that's how you externalize your internal emotions, feelings, thoughts. Then you can read it, you can have some insights indeed about stuff, or you can cut it or carefully burn it, and you will feel relief, really. Maybe there will be some sudden news from abroad, from foreign lands, some sudden emails, articles, news, videos that you can come across that will give you some food for thoughts. But then, Mercury goes retrograde till the 14th of May. Give yourself time to reevaluate. Maybe you want to reestablish some connections. Maybe you are forgiving people and coming back to to start new clean slate with them, new chapter. Maybe you are getting in contact with ancestors through regressions, through meditations. Maybe you're contacting again your old psychologist, therapist, astrologer for some insights and advices. Maybe you have to wait also while your ruler is retrograde. Sometimes it's a time to repair, redo, finish some unfinished business, reestablish some connections, or maybe just waiting for a visa, waiting for the government to decide something, waiting to buy tickets, going back to finish your course of foreign languages, for instance. Yeah, something like this you can use very purposefully and productively, even the retrograde period of your ruler. Now, Mercury, by the way, is in the shadow of retrogradation. That is, he walks 3 times between the 5th and 15th degree of Taurus, between the 7th of April and 31st of May. So whatever new ideas you receive around or starting from the 7th of April, then you will be reevaluating them. And then you will, after already the 31st of May, Mercury will go into a new territory. So there is a reason for Mercury to stay so long in your 12th house. Maybe indeed you have to get rid of some bad self-destructive, self-sabotaging speech habits, expression habits, something you do with your hands, maybe smoking or biting your nails. Maybe this is bad habit which you have to now finally stop and heal. Yeah. Okay, dear Gemini, it's getting late here already, so I want to wish you a beautiful, interesting, exciting, positive April. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.